time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
Feel, don't think.
Fear is my ally.
The Force will be with you.
We are encouraged to love.
Be mindful of your thoughts.
I will not betray the Republic.
Hey, your worship, I'm only trying to help.
Scruffy-looking nerf herder.
I'm not afraid.
You must unlearn what you have learned.
In keeping with the trusty adage, starve a cold, disgust a fever.
What an odd combination of odors. Smells like a fish died and all the other fish sent flowers.
Pardon me. I have to go poke out my mind's eye.
So let's do a quick review of Andor, and then we'll get to some stuff about Kennedy. Episodes 4, 5, and 6 were long, boring, and asinine. We've got Bix not being able to sleep, and then Andor giving her what I'm going to assume is spice so she could sleep. At the end, she gets so stoned, she goes, finds the doctor that I can't remember what he did, because I stopped caring about Andor, and basically melts his brain. It's just fucking, put this on the who cares thing. And there's a French accent to the Gormans, and they speak a language that sounds like French mishmash. What the fuck? But I'll get into that. Then there's the operation that the Gormans want to put on. Cassian says to Luthen they can't handle it. Luthen says their loss is acceptable. They go to steal weapons so they can prove that the Empire is building a military base in the middle of the city. And there's friendly fire, and one of the Gormans kills Vel's slut friend. All right, so the lesbians are no more. Boo-hoo. Little tiny violin. It's just, the show is just so, and there are good parts to it. Like, Stellan Skarsgård is one of the bright spots, all right? Like, the only bright spot. And with him, you actually feel like there's a story to tell. And, you got to ask, why are they hiring Cassian Andor? And Vel proceeds to scream at the kid who accidentally shot her friend and basically degrade his manhood. As someone who knows a little bit about the military and knows about friendly fire incidents, fuck you little bitch. Why aren't you at home cooking dinner for a husband? She's not fit to lead an army of ants. Okay, but this is the level of writing. So let's go back to Mon Mothma. She's on the floor of the Senate, and she walks out. She's getting ready to go to a party at the collector's house. Luthen and Kyla, I think her name, discover that the artifact that they stuck a listening device in is going to be looked at the next day to make sure it's actually really a piece of worthy of collection and not a fraud. They go to the party together. Kyla is trying to get the piece apart so she can get at the listening device. Luthen is watching Mon Mothma and Krennic hate on each other. And, Ben Mendelsohn is chewing up the scenery. And they finally get there, and everybody thinks, oh, she gets caught. At the end, she tosses the listening device to Luthen, and they both smile and walk away. Now, back to Gorman. So they get this shipment. Vel's bitch dies, and Cyril is watching all this. Okay, I think it's Gorman, or it's a shipment ready for Gorman. Okay, I'm not sure what even fucking planet it is. If it's Coruscant or not. All right. Oh, yeah, so Cyril, Ted Bundy. Cyril, he's wearing a Western suit, by the way. A 3-piece Western fucking suit. And Gorman is France, the height of fashion and sophistication. In fact, Cyril gives one of the creepy spiders to his creepy mother. She opens it up, and it's some god-awful drag queen show. And his mommy's all giddy about it. Anyway, he and Deirdre are running an intelligence operation about Gorman, okay? So he's invited to one of these secret squirrel meetings, town halls that they have, and he goes and gives all the information to Deirdre, and he finds out that there's a listening device because the ISP decides to tear apart the office. He already knows what's going to happen. Deirdre's got the information, and Cyril's got the info. They give it to Partagatz, who's Deirdre's staff boss, and they have an operation to watch these, quote, rebels, the French resistance, because they're speaking a mishmash of French, and they have French accents, every fucking one of them. And it is called back to the French resistance. And it's just god-awful. And we don't see them get picked up, but I'm betting they do. Okay. So, get back to Cassian. Cassian goes and he inspects, he had already inspected where they were going to do all this. He said, you don't have the equipment. You're not ready for this. And he says, no, I'm not going to help. So he leaves, and I already said, tells Luthen, they have a fight. Luthen says, it's a go. And he says, the lesbo and her lesbo friend to Gorman. And, of course, friendly fire death. Again, that's it. That's all the action. Okay. But let's go on. So we've got all that. Cyril, and they know what they're doing. So Bix is having all these dreams, and Cassian decides to get her a drug, I'm going to assume it's spice, and gets her stoned out of her mind, which causes her, like I said, to go hunt down that guy from, I think, season 1, and fry his brain. All right, the whole Bix Cassian thing is melodramatic bullshit. Luthen shows up, decides not to use her on a mission, and then at the end, Cassian says, you're coming with me. So these are people I don't care about but for Luthen. All right? And then, of course, here's Cyril meeting one of the French resistance. The guy in the picture with the hat on, that's the guy that kills Vel's slut. Okay? So, by accident. And I do expect him and his cohorts to get picked up. All right? I don't know what's going to happen here, but they did mention Tarkin and the 500 that were massacred, the Tarkin massacre. And that's a very old EU thing, which is, I guess, cool. All right? Again, I want to remind you guys, this show does have Kyle Ron's mask on it. Then we get to Jimmy Smits, who doesn't show up in a cameo. They replaced Jimmy Smits with Benjamin Bratt. This is why I'm pissed off. You can find time and the money to get Jimmy Smits to show up, say 5 lines, and leave. And we've got blue pills who are beating off to this in the corners, screaming this was so great. What a cameo. It's not a cameo if you recast it. You can say it's a cameo of the character, but it's not. Because that's supposed to be Jimmy Smits. Now, I'm not going to attack Benjamin Bratt. He's a good actor. But why not use Jimmy Smits? The only way this works is if there was a scheduling conflict, okay? So, anyway, I gotta say, I mean, this was such bullshit. If they couldn't get Jimmy Smits, then don't have the character show up. Okay, Ben Mendelsohn chewed up the scenery. He's by far one of two best actors in this, and he's being wasted. I absolutely wasted in this bullshit, and I'd rather watch him. In fact, after watching, oh God, Saw Gerrera, Huff, whatever that was, no wonder why he's batshit crazy. Stellan Skarsgård, the other great actor in this. I'm literally like, they're wasted moments. These characters deserved more. And I'm going to say this. Between Saw Gerrera's fucked upness and Vel and the Gormans with their French accents and just the overall tone, I want the Empire to kick their asses. In fact, I want those rebels to get caught. It's gotten to the point where I don't care about any of these characters. And while the controversies that we had stemming from the sexual assault last week aren't in it, it's just bad. It's bad. Star Wars Theory's so bummed out, pissed off, he's not even going to talk about it anymore. It's not worth talking about. I'll continue to review it because I want to tear it apart. So anyway, let's talk more.
Stop the criminal in his tracks with this magical incantation. Stop, don't rob me here, this is my no-no sphere.
Stop! Don't rob me here. This is my no-no sphere. Stop! Don't rob me here. This is my no-no sphere.
So I'm going to give you a theory about Kennedy and paying for the acolyte. We've been speculating on Cameron's Patreon, and it's pretty interesting. And my theory is she needed between $22 and $30 million. And she was trying to sell this place for about $22 million, and she could only sell it for half. Reason why is because prime real estate like this in California has just been gutted. So they take the art collection, American Stories, at that Shelkoff Gallery, and sell it. If they get $10 million for it or more, they have whatever was on their minds for what they were going to get for the Carbon Mesa Drive property. Why? Does she owe the vendors? Does she owe financiers? I speculate, and everybody else did too, so I'm going to jump in with mine. When they offered the acolyte to Karen McCarthy, it was still in negotiations with Disney whether they were going to do it or not. They were told they weren't, and told McCarthy after she went on her own expense to England to find a place to live and to start doing her job, that they really didn't need her without really telling her. They just quit calling her. That, in fact, means there was no acolyte to begin with. How did we get this financed? Well, there are ways of doing it. You go to the vendors, right? We will give you this much money if blah, blah. If it's almost like an if-then proposition. If this is made, if you give us money, then we will give you whatever, plus whatever interest, right? Or to financiers. Disney, it looks like to me just I'm basically, they've cut themselves off from all this. I mean, how much the show cost? Like $300 million to make? Now, here's another thing, add on to this. What if there are two shell companies for the Acolyte? The one that we know Rhonda Shiort created in England, called Blue Stockings Limited UK. There's another one that Kennedy just created. We don't know about that. This is just speculation. We know for a fact that money was leaving Lucasfilm to Leslie Headland for something. Okay, now you look at it and go, why is Kennedy so up about trying to make money, and why did she sell that collection? That was a legacy. You don't collect those things to sell them. You collect them so when you die, it gets sent to a museum like the Guggenheim or the Metropolitan Museum of Art, so all the hoity-toities in New York City can look at it and go, wow, they had taste. Of course, I found the collection to be dilettante, but that's just me. Art is subjective. And, very suspiciously anti-capitalist, even though Frank and company made a lot of money in the capitalist system. So who does she have to pay back? Why is she in such a hurry to make all this money back? Not only do they sell a premier piece of real estate for a pittance, they sell this art collection. Question mark. I want you guys to sit and think about it. I may go live tonight or maybe tomorrow. Steph signing out. See you around the galaxy.